Since so many of you liked Opie's story of redemption so much, I thought I'd share some more. For those of you who don't know, we actually have a lot of miniature horses, most of which came as rescues and all of which have a story. So the next one is Granny Smith, or Honey as she's now called. Now, we're based in the Bay of Islands. That's the top part of the North Island of New Zealand, and these horses we went almost all the way to the bottom of the South Island to get. We went to Glenorchy, and there was 8 of them to pick up, and Granny Smith was one of them. And that trip involved a ferry crossing, and our first ferry we actually couldn't get on because the weather was too rough, and with a horse trailer you're not allowed to sail on it. And so we had to wait for a day, and then we finally got on the ferry, and then we drove for an entire another day to get all the way to Glenorchy. And when we got there, we realised we had a far bigger job on our hands than we initially expected. All the horses were horrendously overweight. The mares, which you can see here, were so fat they were almost crippled. Their feet were terribly overgrown. The stallions were not socialised, so they were trying to rip each other apart. It was all a little bit chaotic, and we were just trying to get them to a place where we could handle them and get them ready for the huge drive ahead to Christchurch. So we had about half a day. We did a crash course in handling with these horses, enough to get them on the trailer safely, and then we started the huge drive back to Christchurch. And I was really worried about some of the mares. I didn't know if they'd be up to the journey because their feet were so bad. But we got there really late at night, about 1 a.m, and I had an amazing friend called Lucy who met us at her property and helped us unload the horses. Oh my god, Lucy, like, it's so bad. There we go. There we go. Come on, girls. Come on, girls. There we go. Good. Chestnut's pretty obliging. Come on. You got it. There you go. There you go. So the next morning we went back to Lucy's place, and it was time to just really give these mares a once over. You can see how stiff some of them are walking and how bad their feet were. But these horses had never really been handled. As far as we knew, they'd had 10 years running on these mountains pretty much with no contact from people. So they were really scared of us, and they just didn't know much at all, super uneducated. You can see Granny Smith here. She's obese. She doesn't want anything to do with me. She's genuinely really scared, to be honest. She's not being naughty. She's actually just quite terrified and wants to get back to her mates. But we had to check them over, and we didn't have the luxury of time. So we had to get halters on them. We were really, really worried about her breathing. It was super loud. So we really wanted to check out her breathing before we went any further. Now, it turns out she's actually just got a really deformed head, and her airways are a little bit impacted by that, but we didn't know it at the time. So you can see me trying to go slow, trying to make friends and just get a halter on her, which was a little bit of a challenge, but she genuinely is just a lovely horse, but was really scared and just didn't know what was going on. You can see me trying to be quiet and slip the halter on and not make it too big of an issue. Now, the halter going on was okay, but it's this next part where we realised maybe how little handling these horses had had. She was quite friendly, Granny Smith, but she definitely did not know what leading was. And so here you see I've got the halter on and I'm trying to lead her, and she really just has no idea what she's meant to do. You can see she's just rearing, and it's complete confusion on her part. Like, it's nothing naughty. She's just genuinely so unsure of what I was asking her to do. And I'm trying to get this done in a way that doesn't upset her and doesn't scare her, but also realising we have a huge time pressure to get these horses sorted and look after them, prepare them for a really big journey ahead. But you can see she is full of sass and full of attitude, this one. She may be small, but she is mighty. Here we go, backwards out the pen. And this carried on for quite a while. Yeah, she really had a good rear in there. And you can see me just trying to manage it and hopefully get the message through that all she's got to do is turn and walk towards me and the pressure will come off. And also she can't get free and go bolting across the paddock, because that would not have been good at that time. You can see here she's kind of starting to get a few steps, which is really good. But yeah, she really had no idea what was going on. And she's pretty sore on her feet too, which did not help. And she'd just been through a really stressful journey. But she did make progress, and actually she learned really, really quickly. I'm not going to show you the whole video because it took about 20 minutes. But here she is at the end, kind of getting the hang of it now, wanting to be my friend and kind of accepting pats and trying to be so brave. She was always like this really sweet little girl. And here's Lucy checking out her lungs, and this is where we decided that, okay, there was nothing in her lungs, like there was no infection or anything like that. And eventually we got her back to Northland. And this is actually a few months later. I wish I'd videoed more, but I didn't. This is a few months later. She also had horribly, horribly deformed teeth. Like her mouth was one of the worst the vets had seen. And so here she is getting a dental checkup so that she could eat better. Yeah, you can see she's a very sweet little girl now. She knows how to lead. That's my brother holding her head in our local vet, just doing some work. And then my mother kind of adopted her, and she went from this really feral pony to being a very, very much loved little pony. And she got really good at being caught. She used to come in the house. She got a terrible haircut from my mother, but she just turned into such a sweet little girl. Now, fast forward to today, and she is an amazing little horse. Part of what we do is we run events for miniature horses, and you can bring your own horse or you can borrow one of ours, but we really like to inspire people to get out and get active with these horses, because it's one of the best ways to promote good welfare and to prevent so many of the problems we see with them. And so a couple of weeks ago I was down in the Waikato, and here she is out marking the trail for our 24-hour challenge with me. You can see how fit and healthy she is. Her feet are good. She's really happy. She's enjoying herself out on the trail, living her best life. So as part of this 24-hour challenge, the horses have to go out with the competitors, the humans, and see how many laps of this 4.2 kilometre track they can do in 24 hours. And I love this little horse, but she'd never been with members of the public before, and we really wanted her to have a good experience, and we also wanted people to have a good experience with her. And so she got matched up with a young girl. The girl had never done anything like this before, and Granny Smith had never done one of our races before, but she was amazing. So here they are now heading out on course with the rest of our ponies at the 24-hour challenge. It was a young girl and her aunt who went out together, and her aunt had another one of our ponies, and they were just so cool. Oh, go Granny Smith.
We're just celebrating the fact that we made a lap without being caught by runners.
You guys look fantastic. They didn't walk the entire 24 hours straight. They had breaks. They made it really fun. Here they are going out again at 6 a.m. and these are the photos from the finish line. Like, that pony is so transformed. The people were amazing. She was amazing, and it was just so cool to see and remember where she came from and how the journey started compared to how it finished.